Right, so what does it take to get into the world of interior design? Design, of course, as Mahesh was pointing out earlier, it's a combination of, there's so much of design, there's so much of science, there's so much of creativity, there's something of everything, it seems, involved in all of this, more than just being creative, of course. Let's get started right away with those who are in this area of work. We're now joined by Sonia Mahindra, Director under One Roof Design and Hospitality Consultant Company. Also Anu Bansal, who's an interior designer, and of course our expert Mahesh Sharma of Careers 360 with us. Thanks all for joining us. Sonia, first you, for all those youngsters now, who are looking at interior design as an option, and there are just so many options available, it's being offered suddenly. Wherever you sort of look, right, you really can't miss it. In your experience, what is the one thing or the two things that have changed in the last decade or so?
See, interior was earlier regarded as a hobby field. There's a big change. It's now considered a professional.
So we're taking it more seriously.
We're taking it far more seriously, and we're also taking our kids who are going into the field of design more seriously. So it's not just like, oh, I have a young girl, she doesn't want to study any further, let her do some design till she gets married. It's a professional career.
Right.
So that's a big change there. The other thing also is the consumer. The consumer now wants a very well designed space, be it a residence, be it a factory, be it a showroom, be it a farmhouse. Everybody wants professional design. There is a lot of acceptability for the profession.
I see.
There's also growth opportunities now. Okay. So it's no longer just a hobby store or a mom and pop shop. There are professional enterprises who are employing people, who are giving them growth. So there are careers to be made even in employment.
Right.
You don't have to be an entrepreneur only to be a interior designer.
Right. That's an important point, Mahesh, making. It doesn't have to really be a mom-pop shop. It's opening up. There are more opportunities. It's serious employment.
Yep, it is. As the nature of job changes, nature of space also changes.
Right.
People value their space. So people value now intangibles. Earlier, you don't invest in design. You invest in factories. You invest in products. The intangible knowledge component which design brings in is not valued at all till about 1995, 96.
Right.
Now it is valued. People are willing to pay top dollar for it. Right. The software now matters much more than hardware.
As your exposure globally also increases, you see what is on offer there, and you want to bring it back,
yeah,
and you want some of that to be reflected here too. Anu, now you're an interior designer. Right. How did you get into it, and what for you is the most challenging aspect of what you do?
Okay. In my third year of course, I was taken up by Under One Roof as an intern for my summer internship.
Where were you studying?
I was studying in NIFT.
So Anu, you studied design, you went to NIFT.
Right.
What about design attracted you?
It's just how we, do up a space, how we come up to a certain expectation of a client or a customer to put up his
vision,
ideas or vision
right,
about that
right,
area. So it's that thing that, aspired me.
Right. Sonia, where exactly does one start? Because I would imagine if a client were to come to you, they would have maybe at times a clear idea. You need to get into the mind of
clients.
The client.
Do have an idea.
They do, but you need to give them clarity.
Translation is another matter altogether. Right. So I think what every designer really gets inspired and aspires for is when you see that transformation of an idea into reality. In our particular line of work, the challenge is bigger because we are transforming an idea into a reality which also has to be commercially viable.
Right.
Because we are designing commercial spaces which have got different end uses. So in residential design, in designs for factories, for farmhouses, there is a large area of functionality. In hospitality design, functionality is there, but aesthetics also matter to a large degree.
I see.
So
okay,
yes,
right,
getting the idea from the client is only the startup. Actually, that's probably the bigger challenge.
Right, I would imagine. That brings me to the first question that we have from Priyanka. Go ahead, Priyanka.
Just wanted to know that how much internship experience is required to get a good job in the industry.
So experience, it always comes down to experience, no matter what you're doing. So here too, would you say that, working with, say, an expert like Sonia, before you branch out or think of branching out would be key, I would imagine?
It matters a lot. Because interior design is all about, for that matter, any design is all about putting your hands together with your head. So as much as the concept and ideas come from your mind, it finally has to be translated into a tangible product or a design or an output. To that extent, working with someone is the best way to achieve that.
Right.
So while concepts and theory and knowledge helps in the school, it is the real life experience which you gained from a trainer counts
That
much
would
more
be-
when it comes to the job.
Right. Sonia, quickly, would you agree to all those that are looking
Absolutely,
and sort of-
absolutely. We value internships and we value people who come to us with prior internship experience because, like he said, they've actually got their hands dirty.
Right.
They've gotten involved with design.
So
It's
to
not
all those
theoretical.
who are watching and want to get into design, they've just finished their, just finished studying, you'd say go look for that internship, perhaps do
Yes.
internships with different people.
Yes,
for,
intern
for
with
more
two,
of an
three different
experience.
organizations.
Right.
Understand the realms of design because it's not just one organization. And then figure out, what's your niche or what's your groove and get into that.
And that, of course, now designing your own spaces and all of that.
All
That's, of course, the kind of growth
responsibilities,
that we've been,
right.
the kind of growth that we've been talking about. Well, we've got another question coming in from Amreen. Go ahead, Amreen.
I have done my graduation in information technology and now I'm doing interior designing. So I just want to know that how can I combine both of them?
That's interesting. She's done information technology and she's doing interior design. Maybe interior design is where her heart was. I'm not sure, Amreen, but wants to do a bit of both. Is that?
Yes, but probably there is no direct connection
Right.
between IT and interior. One is an enabling technology, the other is about space. So they are quite diverse. What she has to understand is where does her aptitude and skill lie.
That's exactly what we're going to have to look at, Amreen. Let us know if you need more help on that. We're going to try and get that sorted out for you if you need more help. But for the moment, Amreen, that does seem to be the answer. Sonia, I have a question which I think you should take more than Mahesh actually. This is Shrishti asking, how important is Vastu for interior design and styling? I mean, new age throws up all sorts of new demands. Is Vastu something? There was a time when it was all Vastu.
See, Vastu's been around.
Right.
Okay, there are times when it's reared its head more than others.
Yes.
But Vastu's been around, and Vastu, if you translate, is the science of architecture.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Because the correct space planning meant that the kitchen would be in some location. Your hot zone is different from your cool
So
zone.
you
Your
are
washrooms
actively
are
keeping that in mind
Yes.
even before somebody brings it up.
Yes,
I
and
see.
in most cases when we get back to the team, they've already sorted it out. We might have to do a few minor adjustments here and there. Knowledge of Vastu, the base level knowledge is helpful,
Right.
because it's subconsciously reflecting in your work. But is Vastu the overriding factor? I don't think so. Not anymore. We're past
Right.
that stage.
Right, that's I think good to know. I'm sure that's going to be a relief to many actually also to know that. Shifali has a question. Go ahead, Shifali.
If I want to get a good job after my course, what all softwares do I require for the interior designing and styling course?
Anu, I think you might be best placed to answer that.
Sure. For starting an interior designing, we need to know Autodesk, which is a AutoCAD, probably known as AutoCAD. That is a basic software we have to do with.
I see.
Additionally, if somebody has Photoshop skills,
Then that-
it also helps, because if you
Right.
get into renditions, you get
Right.
into things.
But they seem to be easily acquired. I mean, like Photoshop skills, is it one of those simple softwares for all those who are perhaps wondering if they need to do
Photoshop is
a
a very-
course in all of
yeah.
this? So
It is a very common
Right, exactly,
software.
and
everybody
should be-
know.
everybody
about
should know,
it,
right?
yeah.
One thing which I want to add there is that they must not be overwhelmed by softwares.
Right.
They are essentially tools.
Exactly.
What will stand them in good stead is their ability to draw, ability to visualize and communicate that by hand.
Right.
If they are capable of that,
Then the
acquiring
rest
a
will just
software
fall
is
into
very
place.
easy.
Sonia, would you like to add to that?
Yeah. I'm for example somebody who has got very basic Photoshop skills. So I know the software. Am I good at it? No, but I have experts on the team who are very good and quick with it. So like he said, they're enabling tools. They're not the be all. CAD on the other hand is something which I'll say is a base level skill. So if you know your stuff and you can work with CAD, it's as basic as what Word applications are to a guy working in an office setup. So that's how.
Just wrap this up for us, Sonia. Give me the top 3 things that you need to become a successful interior designer.
Of course, creativity. You have to have creativity. The other thing is that you need to understand spaces. So you need to have a sense of proportion and balance, because that's where it all boils down to. Sketching skills, drawing skills are added advantages. It's easier to communicate your design, and loads of patience.
And loads of patience, right? That's good to know. We can throw that in for everything. Anu, as we just wrap this, there was something that you wanted to show us on spaces and how they have been transformed. Go ahead.
The process of our designing. First, we visit the site and we see the space, how can we, translate that space into a much created art, or what can we do with that space.
Correct.
So first we go with the sketch, how can we do the circulation and everything in that space, and then beyond that we then do the 3D renders of that space.
I see.
How we'll translate that shell into a 3D image.
That's where all those softwares, I guess, come into
and
play.
the
Right.
colors, and how we'll place the furniture and everything, lighting and everything comes in.
Right.
And then we have a clear shot of the image, the real image of that place, that how does it look like. So, is the
And
clear
that's how
image-
we sort of
Yeah.
say that
it
this
comes
is-
from
once you get the
empty
go-ahead from
space,
all the stakeholders, and then
right.
it is
From an empty
translated.
space, how do we change it into a a beautiful place and environment and a beautiful ambience.
Right, from conceptualization
Right,
to
right.
finally seeing the end product there in front of you. It must be quite a journey. Thanks all so much
Right,
for
thank
being
you.
a part of this. Thanks for taking our time for all of this. Thank you.